Welcome to this live stream from First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Our mission is to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. We invite you to visit our website at www.ucdsm.org. It's a great way to explore all that our church has to offer, from adult programs, to religious education, to social justice work, and more. But the best way to know us is to visit on a Sunday. We'd love to get to know you over a cup of coffee after the service. Speaking of which, today's service will begin shortly. So now we'll take you inside.
Good morning. Opening words by Craig Rowland. We light this chalice for the ones who arrive disheveled, carrying questions, contradictions, grief half healed, and dreams still raw. You deserve a place that welcomes your becoming, that knows your fire is not too much, your silence not too little. A place that sees your shadows and still reaches for your light. You deserve a community that listens when you speak your truth, that sits with you in turmoil and rises with you in joy, that believes in your voice even when it trembles. You deserve a circle that brings you hope and coffee and poetry, a place to rest, a place to rise. Please join me now in reading the remaining words on the screen or in your order of service as we light our chalice. Let this play be that place, not perfect, but possible, not without cracks, but full of light. Welcome home. And now let us pass the peace. Some folks love to move about and greet one another. Some folks prefer a little personal space. Let us follow the platinum rule and do unto others what they wish.
If you'll please remain standing in body or spirit, we will sing our opening hymn, With Joy Reclaim the Growing Light, number 345 in the gray hymnal.
With joy we claim the growing light, advancing thought and widening view. The light of freedom clears it, which from the old unfold the new. With wider view come laughter go, with fuller light more good to see. With freedom to self-control, with knowledge deeper reverence be.
Good morning. I'm Doug Opperly, he, him, one of your co-celebrants this morning from the Queer and Trans Action Group here who are bringing you this service today. Welcome all genders, sexual identities, ethnicities, bodies, and stories. Whatever you are carrying with you, whatever you long to set down or pick up today, may you find here the love, support, and encouragement you seek. As we gather, let us remember that our church lies on the ancestral lands of the Iowa Nation, who call themselves Bakoje in their own language, and the Meskwaki Nation. May we strive to be in right relationship with this land and all who dwell here, both now and for generations to come. A special welcome to those who are new or newish to this community. We have a bountiful coffee hour after the service, and we hope you will join us for good food and fellowship. In keeping with our UU value of religious pluralism, we note that this past week, June 26th, marked Yom Ashura, a day of commemoration in Islam. For Sunni Muslims, it marks the day they believe God parted the Red Sea, enabling Moses and the Israelites to break free from enslavement by the Egyptian Pharaoh. For Shia Muslims, it marks the martyrdom of Hussein ibn Ali, grandson of the Prophet Muhammad, and their third Imam. This past Friday, June 26, also marked the 11th anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell v. Hodges. This 5-4 ruling held that the fundamental right to marry is guaranteed to same-sex couples by both the Due Process Clause and the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. It requires all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and territories under U.S. sovereignty to perform and recognize the marriages of same-sex couples on the same terms and conditions as the marriages of opposite-sex couples, with equal rights, protections, and responsibilities. Later in this service, we'll hear reflections from couples in our own church on what marriage equality has meant to them. Today, June 28th, also marks the anniversary of the Stonewall Rebellion. Though the struggle for queer rights and affirmation of queer love, humanity, and dignity had certainly been going on for many, many years before, Stonewall is often viewed as the turning point of the modern LGBTQ movement. In words adapted from Otto O'Connor, here is that story. On a holy night in 1969, in an inn, also known as a bar, called the Stonewall Inn, in a basement which had no running water, no safe fire exits, queer people of many colors and kinds danced together, for it was the only place in the city where they were allowed to dance together. At least permitted to by the mafia who ran the inn. In those days, it was also common for the police to frequent this inn, not to join in the dance, the underground celebration, but to perform raids and make arrests. When they would arrive, the lights would go up, the people would be lined up, and then those in drag all those who were trans, the queer youth, without proper identification, they were arrested and taken into custody. But on this holy night, the early morning of June 28th, the people said, "Not tonight." As the police ordered them to line up, first the trans women refused to go. As the police began to beat and arrest them, and as the people fled and spilled out from the bar onto the street, Christopher Street, a crowd grew to watch. And then, as trans women, queer youth, lesbians, and gay men were getting arrested, a yell came from the crowd, "Gay power!" And as a trans woman was shoved, she shoved back. And then she and the crowd began throwing bottles at the police wagon. And suddenly it erupted. For once, the people didn't line up. For once, the people said, "No more, we've had enough." It was almost as if that night, being pulled out of the darkness of the underground at the Stonewall Inn one too many times, they said, "I demand to be seen." On this holy night, when the power of the oppressed rippled through the streets of New York, when queer people said, "No more," something shifted, and our world would never be the same again. 6 decades ago, it was illegal to be gay, to be trans, to dance and to love and to celebrate, and to share that love, not only openly, but even privately. And now, 57 years later, here we are, openly celebrating that in a church. Gay and straight together, queer and allies together, trans and cis together, all in this together. And so as we hear these stories of life and love and defiance and celebration, let us also remember and pay tribute to our movement ancestors. Many of them queer youth whose families and communities had turned them out onto the street and turned their backs on them, who then put their young bodies on the front lines of the street that night, only to be beaten and arrested, but who endured and survived and are now our elders. Many of them trans women of color who were among the first to lead the rebellion that night and on into the following days, and who then continued to lead the struggle for dignity and equality for decades afterward too. Folks like Stormé de Larverie, Miss Major Griffin Gracie, Marcia P. Johnson, and Sylvia Rivera. You see, Pride arose as a celebration of that anniversary, the anniversary of that riot at the Stonewall Inn in New York City, a holy night. So happy Pride. Welcome to this joyful celebration. Bring your whole selves, your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer selves, your drag queen, butch and femme, cross-dressing, nail-painting, leather-clad, tutu-wearing, glitter-dusted selves. Your gender-queer, gender-fluid, agender, asexual, pansexual, quilt-bag selves, and all the other identities that are and will be. And let's have a celebration, because joy is a rebellion too, and queerness is a part of this church now too. Queer and fabulous. Amen? Amen. Then let us begin.
Good morning. I'm Gianfranco Berardi. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm honored to also serve as your co-celebrant. As Unitarian Universalists, we gather together not bound by a creed, but by the promises we make to one another, which we call covenants. Will you join me in reading together our congregation's bond of union? We covenant to associate ourselves together for the study and practice of morality and religion, as interpreted by the growing thought and noblest lives of humanity, hoping thereby to prove helpful one to another and to promote truth, righteousness, and love in the world.
Please remain seated as we sing From You I Receive 402.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we shall from this we live.
Do we have any spotlights this morning? Hearing none.
Hello, friends. My name is Ren Culleney. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them, and I'm happy to be part of the service today. Our meditation is The Queer Beatitudes by Tim Atkins, aka Sister Sweet Suffering Tea of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Blessed are the fabulous, for they remind the world that life is meant to be lived in color. Blessed are the broken-hearted, for they will find chosen family to hold them together. Blessed are the drag queens, the leather daddies, the femmes, the butches, the bears, the twinks, and all beyond and between, for they show us the endless creativity of love. Blessed are those who have been told that they are too much, for they will discover that they are exactly enough. Blessed are the lovers who kiss on sidewalks, for they make the streets holy ground. Blessed are the ones who glitter, who dance, who vogue, who sing off-key in karaoke bars, for theirs is the kingdom of joy. Blessed are the elders who pave the way, for we follow in the freedom of their work. Blessed are the young ones still figuring it out, for the world is wide enough for all their becoming. Blessed are we, the whole queer family, for love is our birthright and joy is our inheritance.
My name is Ellen Taylor, and I'm the Pastoral Care Associate for your congregation this morning. Life changes whether they bring celebration, heartache, or something in between, and are part of all of our stories. The Pastoral Care team is here to walk with you through these moments. Sometimes knowing someone will truly listen can make all the difference. There are several ways you can reach us: by emailing pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.org, by calling or texting our phone number on the screen, through the Caring Community page on the church's website, by filling out a card and dropping it in the Cares and Concerns box, or by speaking with me or any member of our team. Here's what's been shared with us this week. Diane Siasoko would like to share a joy. Her personal essay entitled Led Zeppelin Told Me I Had ADHD will be published in the opinion section of the Des Moines Register this Sunday. It will be her first publication in the Register. Congratulations, Diane. Lynn George is recovering at home from knee replacement surgery on Tuesday, June 23rd, with Carrie by her side. Let's keep Lynn in our thoughts and send warm wishes as she continues to heal. You're invited to sign a card for her at the Pastoral Care Desk after the service. We recognize that there are more stories, concerns, and people on your mind than we've had time to share aloud. Let us now name those who could use extra care, either speaking the names aloud or typing them into the chat. May we embrace this community, reach each one. And now we light 3 candles, one for the joys and sorrows shared aloud, one for those shared in writing, and one for those held silently among us. For all of these, we now observe a minute of silence.
Our song response is in the teal hymnal, number 1053, How Could Anyone? We will sing it through once only.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
So it is normally characteristic for us to read a gratitude card from the Gratitudes Bulletin Board in the other room. I am invoking the privilege to share one that I wrote, and that is a gratitude to all of you. Several weeks ago, as you all I'm sure are aware, we hosted our Trans Lives Festival here at the church. Roughly 60 of you volunteered to help out that day to make that a great success. When I had shared that with somebody else in the community who had said they're involved in lots of different community nonprofits and boards, and said, how in the world do you get 60 people to show up? And I've just thought, I take it for granted. That's who we are here, so thank you. We now take up our morning offering as a practice of our generosity and our gratitude, for in giving we also receive.
Good morning. I am Deidre Fudge. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, now I'm tall. And I'm Barb Royal. I am the eldest of the elders who are speaking this morning.
And I'm the younger elder, just in case.
That's right.
You know.
She's the younger elder. And we kind of looked at the title for us, the elders are sharing. And so we are choosing to interpret that as we have grown into wisdom as elders, as opposed to being elderly. Anyway, here we are.
Here we are.
Go for it.
Okay. Picture it. West Des Moines, Iowa, July 1995.
Hey, Dee, I'm double checking my packing list for Minnesota. I have 2 gallons of bug spray and my tick repellent. And oh, I got to dig out my hat with the mosquito netting. Those things are going to be the size of Cadillacs, and you know I'm a bug magnet.
Yep. Why did we pick Minnesota in July?
'Cause it'll be fun.
Yeah, sure.
And Minnesota is more gay-friendly than here. Which reminds me, we have to be sure to bring a copy of our medical powers of attorney. If something happens, we need to be able to make decisions for each other. We don't want to be at the mercy of your parents or my brother long distance.
Oh, God, no. I'm going to go get our POAs right now and put them in my suitcase. How many of you think about carrying legal documents when you travel to make sure you can take care of your significant other if you have a medical emergency? From 1993, when we met, until we were married in 2010, our medical POAs were our necessary travel companions. And even once we were married in Iowa, not all states recognized our status, so we also carried a copy of our marriage certificate. We kept all this up until the U.S. Supreme Court decision legalized same-sex marriage across the country in June of 2025.
Now, shortening our packing list was not the only reason we decided to get married. Like many of you, we wanted to simplify our tax filing and also save some money as a married couple. Kidding aside, the legal state of matrimony comes with many benefits gay and lesbian couples in Iowa went without until April 2009. Here are just some that have often, here are just some that are often taken for granted by married couples.
Inheritance rights. Unmarried couples typically have none. Social Security, survivor benefits, again, none. Retirement and pension protections. 401ks and pensions automatically go to married spouses. And you got to jump through a lot of hoops if you want to do something else. In health insurance benefits, married people can include coverage for their spouse on their employer's insurance plan. And we've already mentioned taxes and medical decision-making.
Personally, when we were married, we both got an emotional boost having our relationship recognized in the same way that most of our friends' marriages were. We felt included in society, having already felt very accepted by this church community. It was a joy to be able to stand in Griffin Hall in front of a room full of family and friends with our minister officiating our legal marriage after 17 years of living together. Now I no longer have to worry that if Deidre ends up in the hospital, her parents could keep me from being with her.
It's been amazing to be able to refer to Barb as my wife rather than my partner. Although each time I do with a stranger, it's a new coming out experience.
At our wedding, our kids, Sydney and Matt, who stood up with us, promised that if we made it another 17 years, we'd get a special gift of SAS Velcro shoes. They gave us it was wood for the 17th, and so they gave us a little dollhouse wooden dresser that time. That date must have seemed a long way off, 34 years, and we'd be really old by then. Now, our 34th anniversary is coming up in just over a year, and we can't wait. Those shoes are within sight, and we'll be sure to wear them to church.
We leave you with these truths. Being part of this church, our married life has been valued.
Our married life has been unremarkable in a good way.
And our married life will always honor the love at the center of this community.
Hello, my name is David Ross, and my spouse can't be here today. He's not feeling real well, so evidently I gave it to him, so, you know. So what are you going to do? Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I've been a member of this church, my spouse and I, for quite a few years, and we came here in a covered wagon, is what happened. Okay. In the evening of the winter of 1979, I met a person, and I thought, wow, he's cute. And I thought I wasn't good enough for him. I was renting an apartment room from a friend of mine because my previous partner of 6 years had left to become the whore of Babylon. And I wasn't raised like that, okay? So I looked for a love and a lifetime commitment. That's what I was interested in. My ego was on the ground, though, and I didn't think very much of myself or have much self-esteem. Besides, I thought I was 8 years older than he was, and he wouldn't be interested in a person that was older and damaged goods. So, but I was to find after dating him for 9 months that my ego had healed, and that I was taken by the most kind and good-looking person I had ever met. We moved into an apartment together because I was still skeptical. After a year, I realized that I had found the one person that I wanted to annoy for the rest of my life. And of course, he would probably annoy me. We had a 30-year engagement. Then in 2009, the Supreme Court passed the Marriage Rights Bill. We could finally get legally married, and now we would have the same protections that every straight couple enjoyed. I have to admit that I never thought anything like this would ever happen. Now, I was not afraid that if I died, my family would not try to take everything away from him. And that if I was ill, and he would be pushed out of the hospital room, and because he was not part of my family. Most people didn't realize at the time that using the word marriage was a key to obtaining the over 200 lawful benefits that was offered to every American couple. So now I can say that my spouse and I are now not part of a civil union, that we are married. And I still my beautiful, kind spouse that I will stand by and love till the end of my days. I'm going to read you what he had to write, too, so you'll get a little bit of that as well. He can't be here. Growing up, I told my parents I was never going to get married. I guess instinctively I knew that it wasn't an option for me, and I began to understand that I was gay. But I always wanted to believe that I would find the soulmate in someone that I could share my life with. I met a very special person through a mutual friend, Rich, and David was older than me, and he had a good job and was a stable person. He was very funny and good. I mean, really good at talking. We had a lot in common, so it soon came to realize that we were a good match. We moved into an apartment together on July 28th of 1979, which we now recognize as our anniversary because we had made the commitment, and began building our lives together. Sometime within the next year, we realized that we needed to protect each other legally. Harvey Harrison here at the church helped us to do that within the laws that existed at the time. When marriage equality became a reality, we were so happy to be able to formalize our commitment to each other and also have the legal representations as spouses. Following our 30-year engagement, we had the joy to have Mark Stringer, our pastor at the time, conduct our 2 weddings. says, we had a small ceremony in May of 2009 in his offices to complete the legal paperwork required for the state of Iowa. Then in August of that year, we had a wedding here at the church where we could share the event with our family and friends. Our families came from all over the country to be here, which was really nice. It was a joyous day for many people in attendance. My sister Muriel stood up with me, my spouse Walter, and our friend Rich stood up with David. My dad, a retired Methodist minister, could not officiate at the ceremony because of the denomination's rules, but he did read a passage from Scripture. My mother was always referred to David as her son, which was a special part of the day as well. In that way, we're very lucky. We have a lot of friends that do not have that privilege. Now, 17 years later, I feel natural and right to call my spouse my husband. As we close on our 50 years together in 2029, I hope to provide an example of why marriage really matters. Thank you.
The following poem was written at age 16 by Otter Young Allen, a trans poet, artist, and gender bender from West Philadelphia, and they were also the 2016 Philadelphia Youth Poet Laureate. This is a lesson in trans joy. 1. Trans pain is currently a certainty. 2. Trans beauty is currently an inevitability. 3. When I am asked about my genitals on a daily basis, it's not my fault when I start getting creative with my answers. Honestly, I should start telling everyone there's a black hole there, because I could say anything, and some theorist would still find a way to prove that it doesn't exist. 4. Teenage trans boys look like tiny children for a reason. 3 words: movie, ticket, discount. You might ask, well, is looking like a newborn really worth it just to get a few dollars off a movie? Yes. For Straight Outta Compton, you're damn right it is. 5. At some point, trans people can't do much else to piss off the family. I mean, I've literally named myself after a semi-aquatic mammal. In their eyes, I've kind of hit the ceiling for nonsense. If I burn the house down, they just say, as long as you don't ask for any more button-down shirts, we're good. 6. Being trans is being on the best game show in the world. How far can I go before my grandma stops buying it? 1 round for each invasive question. Grand prize. Watching the look on her face when I say, actually, they botched the surgery and now I have a cactus down there. 7. We know we're different. Not everyone has fluctuation in their back pocket. Not everyone moves like unanswered questions. Allow me to recognize how fine we are. I mean, look at us. Look at our baby faces and Adam's apples and painted nails and 2 hair beards. They can't stop debating us because our beauty is miles past thesis, and the rest are running to catch up and hypothesize. They keep us on the streets because our hands are too pure for homes washed in hand-me-down hate. They don't believe us? We don't need them to. Mortals never do believe it when they see magic anyway. 8. We pack our pride like armor, like bigots pack ammunition, like phoenixes pack resurrection. We have too much flight in us to entertain ideas so earthbound. We are a chorus of our own making, bodies and voices with bliss in the background. Don't they know that they cannot kill a people who have built themselves? We do not burn like bones do. We are rebirth remixed, our ashes glitter. The smoke is singing that even in death or dysphoria, we pick fights with our ghosts. 9. Let them come at us. They will never catch us off guard when we are this trained in transition. We've got endurance like oceans and bodies like water, all fluidity and freedom. We flood towns with this. Why else would they call us a trend unless we were in high demand? Our self-love is nothing short of commodity, of relic, of beaten down and glowed up, of overwhelmed and overwhelming as a consequence. There is nothing more holy than correcting how they talk about your halo. There is nothing more royal than shedding old titles to find new ones that sound more regal. Look at us reign, all of us insecure and estranged kids, and still never be cis to save my life kids. Look at us, not in spite of ourselves, but because of ourselves. Not in death's face, but behind his back, so we don't give him the satisfaction. This has been your lesson in trans joy. Thank you.
My name is JC Hake-Vicky, and I use they, them, and ze-them pronouns. Growing up, I never saw others who felt like me in the media. It wasn't until in my mid-20s when the person I was dating told me they were non-binary and what that meant for them. That being non-binary went from a vague concept to something real people that I know are and can be. Within the next few weeks after that, I did a deep dive on trans and non-binary identities and realized that a lot of my experiences were reflected in the non-binary experience. I was extremely fortunate to have accepting friends and an accepting workplace at that time. Over the next 3 to 6 months, I was able to try out different pronouns to see what felt best and eventually settled on they, them as the standard pronoun of my choice. We talk a lot about gender dysphoria, the painful feeling of incongruence between how we feel inside and how we are perceived. I want to talk about gender euphoria, a component of trans joy. Gender euphoria is the wonderful feeling of being perceived in a way that feels genuine to one's internal self-image. For me, gender euphoria started with changing what pronouns others used when talking about me. She, her pronouns quickly felt icky and wrong following my realization that I am a non-binary trans person. I first added they, them as a pronoun, and my friends picked up on it quickly. Next, I tried out he, him pronouns. He, him to me feels more right than she, her did, but didn't have the same feeling of trueness to myself that they, them does. To me, having others refer to me using they, them pronouns or neo-pronouns such as ze, zem, zer, zers, zemself feels like home. It feels like belonging. I feel loved and respected and honored in a way I hadn't felt before. Others perceiving me as a non-binary person allows me to feel seen in a way I didn't realize was possible. The same goes for my self-perception. Realizing all those years ago that there were other people that didn't neatly fit into the man or woman boxes was heartening. I wasn't wrong for feeling the way I feel, just different. And most importantly, I wasn't alone. I had at least one other person in my life that felt similarly, though our personal experiences, gender identities, and gender expressions are different. I could look to social media and see other people like me, who looked the way I wanted to look, who talked openly about their experiences with and relationships to gender. In the years since that moment of realization, I have cultivated an amazing group of friends, many of whom are queer, trans, and or neurodivergent, around whom I am able to just exist in my rawest form. Another moment of gender euphoria for me was when I tried on my first binder. A binder is a piece of clothing that lessens the appearance of someone's chest in an attempt to look more masculine. I knew going in that I was not going to get a completely flat appearance in a binder, but in that moment of putting on that same t-shirt I had been wearing over the binder and seeing myself in the mirror, I started to cry. They were tears of joy that I was finally looking in the mirror and seeing myself reflected in a way that felt more closely aligned to how I was feeling inside at that time. Attending Pride events also reminds me that there are so many people, even in this place, that are queer themselves or are allies. When thousands of people show up to support queer people like me, I feel less alone in my queerness. Seeing everyone dolled up and looking their best and most confident gives me hope and pride in my community. For me, most of the time, moments of gender euphoria are outnumbered by moments of gender dysphoria. The biggest reason for this, in my opinion, is the lack of knowledge and understanding and support from the wider community. I've had people maliciously misgender me, refuse to properly gender me, and have even lost some of my family over my gender identity and my preferences surrounding it. Having friends I can rely on to provide allyship and support has impacted me in ways I truly cannot put into words. If you are wanting to learn more about how to be a better ally to the trans community and maybe give someone in your life a little bit of trans joy, please join us after the coffee hour in Griffin Hall for today's forum, Trans Allyship 101. We will have handouts to distribute as well as a planned information session followed by discussion. I hope you will join me in learning more about how to support the trans people in your life and in the wider community. Thank you.
Please rise and body your spirit for our hymn, Here You Will Always Be Home, which is on the insert in your order of service.
I've been the one who hides inside
Please join me in saying the extinguishing chalice words in your order of service or on the screen. The flame goes out. What stays is what we found here. The recognition, the remembering, the knowing that we are here for each other. From this we flourish and light up the world.
May whatever gatherings or activities we engage in this Sunday afternoon help restore us, our connections to one another, our sense of hope, beauty, and fun in this world, our deep knowing that we have to take care of ourselves and each other with love and joy if we are to soulfully survive the world's mayhem.
Hallelujah,
As this live stream from First Unitarian Church comes to an end, remember that previous live streams can be found on our YouTube channel. We'd love to see you in person someday. Until then, thanks for joining us.